Good Morning Wilmington is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.
Good morning, Delaware. You're watching DETV's Good Morning Wilmington. And hi, Kristen. How are you?
It's Monday.
I know. What a Monday.
A Monday after a busy weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I know I had a pretty busy weekend. And, you know, just so you guys know out there, we are missing somebody with us this week. I know.
He's out roaming the streets of Greece.
I know, celebrating his birthday. He took birthday shenanigans to a whole nother level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think
out
maybe
of this country level.
Yes, for sure. And I think maybe we should start planning ours for next year. Try to one up him.
I like that.
What do you think?
Indeed, I'm all about the one-up.
And then we'll send him pictures.
Send him pictures.
Yeah, he's been sending me pictures
I know,
since he's
all in
left.
the group chat and everything. What did you do this weekend?
It was my dad's birthday last week, so a lot of family time, a lot of celebration. So that's kind of what I got into, and all schoolwork, the usual, that kind of stuff on top of everything else. How about you?
I went down to the DC area. I attended the Mission Ball, which was really exciting. They had a cocktail networking event Friday evening, and then Saturday was the ball, so I had on my ball gown. And
what color did you wear?
It was really nice. It's like this, a shade of green, but it had a lot of sequins and everything. I got it from Delaware's oldest bridal shop, Irene's, and I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, because I totally want to give you the shout out and make it right. But Irene's Bridal, it's on Philadelphia Pike.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I think so.
Irene. Her and her husband are amazing people. But shout out to you guys for getting me right. I appreciate it. So I did that this weekend and got some family time in, and just had a great one.
Did you hear about the star AP Carinae?
Yes.
That exploded NASA's. So what was it? It was NASA's Hubble telescope captured the death of this really rare blue variable star.
Yes.
Which was crazy.
I know.
Did you see it?
It blew up.
It did. Well, in an Instagram post, they said maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's dust bubbles and gas eruptions.
Craziness.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that. I'm like, oh, the poor girl.
I know.
Let her go with dignity.
I know. Well, brilliant blue light emitting stars, they're massive and hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the concept of stars. I think we had a conversation before about constellations, and
I feel like we did. We talk about a lot of things.
We sure do behind the scenes. But yeah, things heat up as a star begins to lose mass in the final stages, and so once it reaches end of life, all stellar materials begin to fall inward, and
poof, there they go.
that's it.
Yep. And if I remember correctly from my science classes from when I was a kid, right before stars are about to expire, that is when they are at their brightest.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But yeah, so I'm trying to remember what else they were saying. So these dust bubbles and an erupting gas shell, the final acts of a star's life. Oh, we talked about that. Yeah. So, I mean, this is really, really cool. I am fascinated by how this works, because if I remember, she's 10,000 years old according to NASA.
Yeah, definitely.
This star.
Definitely. Yeah. What
That's
do you think about
crazy.
stars? You know how in The Lion King?
Yes. Yes.
I can't help but to think about Lion King, how Mustafa was saying that all the greats are in the stars.
In the stars.
Yeah.
I think that there is something. I think that there is. One of the cool things I love about stars is you have astrology that's connected to it. I mean, so much of our history and initial cultures are really centered around astrology and the stars. So I'm fascinated by them, honestly.
I think maybe this one, it died out in the sky, and maybe we have some great person that's going to be birthed here on Earth.
Maybe.
Another leader, maybe. Bingo.
There we go.
Speaking of leaders, though, so I know you sat with RodneyStreet Tennis last week.
I did.
Yeah, you got to go over this week and test out some backhand skills.
I did. So I don't know if you remember from last week, but I did. Yes, I got to sit down with Matt Johnson, and he and I kind of agreed that I would go learn some skills from the kids that play at RodneyStreet Tennis and Tutoring Association. So I did pop over there.
Nice.
And they taught me some new things. I have a lot of practicing to do. I'm not before I take on Jordan.
It's all good. Yeah. Let's check out and see how JJ did. Yeah.
We're doing a lot of talking here in Washington, in the Senate, about infrastructure. What's that really mean? Well, if we move forward on the bipartisan infrastructure plan that I'm supporting, that's going to mean millions more dollars for Delaware and Delawareans to improve Amtrak and SEPTA, to improve our roads and bridges up and down the state, to make sure we've got better access to broadband so that your cell phone calls don't drop as you drive up and down the state, so that kids can get access to Wi-Fi for school, and we can take advantage of telemedicine. I'm excited about a $580 billion new proposal for infrastructure for this country, but more than anything, I'm interested about how this will create good, high-paying jobs in Delaware and make our state easier to live in, more equitable and just, and more accessible in this digital age. For more information, go to my website, coons.senate.gov. Thanks.
So it's been a while since I picked up one of these, and I was not very good at it. But if you watched last week's show, you know that I sat down with the executive director, Matt Johnson, who is from RodneyStreet Tennis and Tutoring Association, and I kind of made him a deal that I would come back and try it again with some pretty cool instructors, especially in honor of their fall fundraiser coming up on September 25th. So I got my racket, I got my mask, we're gonna go hit the court. Come on. All right, guys, so first thing I want to do is meet all of you guys. So will you tell me your names individually? What's your name?
My name's Allison.
Allison? Nice to meet you. Allison, what's your name?
My name is Hugh. It's not Allison.
What's your name?
My name is Hugh.
Hugh? Nice to meet you. Your name?
My name is Will.
Will? Nice to meet you, Will.
My name is Caleb.
What is that again?
Caleb.
Caleb? Caleb? Caleb.
C-A-L-E-B.
With the B. All right, now I got it. Caleb. All right. So tell me, guys, how long have you been playing tennis? With RodneyStreet Tennis?
I just came on.
Say again?
I just came on a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. Oh my gosh. And you're already on this team?
Yes.
Wow. Did you play tennis before here?
About 1.5 years.
Okay. How about you?
I think for 2 years.
2 years here?
Yes.
Nice. How about you?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay. And you?
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. So you have more years on these guys. Does it show on the court that you have more? Sometimes. Hold on, tell me again. Say it again.
Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it just, goes all over the place.
Okay. And are you guys also part of the STEM program? You do the apps and stuff?
I think no.
No. That's all right. So, all right, I'm interested to see what you guys can do out in the court. Will you show me some things?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let me see what you guys got. Go ahead.
All right, and we are back. It was great to watch JJ doing her tennis thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but you're back and you're watching us girls because Jordan is not here. So we're having loads of fun.
Yeah, we are. This is kind of nice. I mean, I miss them dearly, but this is kind of nice having a little girl time.
Exactly. Yeah. So listen, I'm a mom, and in the spirit of, it's just the girls here today. There is a mom that posted a video, and this could be our viral video of the week.
Okay.
So her 5-year-old daughter thought that she was an alien. So apparently they watched Men in Black a few days before.
Oh no.
Somehow her daughter got to see her passport. And for all of you who have passports, you know, there's like this, there are a bunch of photos inside of it on the pages. So there's one where it's like, it looks like it's very
and also the association with the movie Men in Black. I do remember
Exactly.
the passport. Yeah,
That's right. So the daughter thought that her mom was an alien and her passport was her showing, you know, like her being authorized to be
here on the planet.
On the planet.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So she was like freaking out and crying her eyes out.
oh
Hilarious.
my God. All right, so are we gonna watch this viral video? I think
Yeah.
we
Let's
are.
go ahead and watch it.
Okay.
Why are you crying?
Oh.
She's really in tears.
She's like,
Look
"Look,
at it. Look at it.
you're not my mommy or nanny."
Mommy, look. It's not me that I'm an alien. These are the places that mommy has traveled to, and this is just a picture of the earth as I travel.
She's like, what?
Oh no.
What?
Come here.
Oh, the poor baby.
So adorable. So adorable.
Oh my God.
But listen,
I
would
can
have ran
see
with
it though.
that.
She's not. She listen.
I agree. And when she said like, oh, these are just stamps of all the places I've been. Maybe it's all of the planets you've been to.
Right. And also that picture is kind of deceiving in the passport because it's like a. Yeah, I mean, it looks like outer space. So I can see where she's coming from. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Plus, you just watched that movie. I remember when I was a kid. I would watch a movie and that would be stuck in my mind for a while, and I'd start associating things with this movie, even though it's obviously not real life. And real life was completely different. But
Yes.
oh, the poor kiddo.
I would have ran with that for a while though, honestly.
I would have.
Like the jokester I am at home.
With
like,
the little one?
I definitely.
Would you let her
all the
cry
way.
like that though?
Just for a little longer.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I'm a good mom.
I
I don't care. Oh my God.
But listen, another cool thing. So, well, not really a cool thing, but that a recent topic, right? And to piggyback off of the viral video of the week is a local topic, which is that residents are actually suing the city of Wilmington over predatory towing
this
practices.
sounds like gossip. Ooh.
I know. Did you hear about any of this?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So, the Institute for Justice, they are a nonprofit public interest firm in VA.
Okay.
So they're going to be proceeding with this case pro bono, which I think is great.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, but there are, within the city, you have to bid on RFPs in order to get, different contracts. So these tow companies, they won the bid, and so they're providing towing services here in the city. But the city pays nothing for its towing service under its contract. In exchange, the authorized tower takes ownership of any car it tows after 30 days. Yep. So the Institute for Justice is asserting that the city of Wilmington permits the towing companies repossession. Yes, of cars as de facto payment for their services. And that the towing companies, they use the profits from confiscated vehicles to fund the city's impound system. So,
wow.
Yeah, this is pretty
This is a good
interesting.
thing. Yeah, and listen, I believe it.
Indeed. So the crazy part is in 2020, which is the year of COVID,
Right.
2,551 cars were towed. Do you want to know how many of those cars were kept by the towing companies?
Out of the 250,000.
987. Honey, yes.
Wow. There you go.
That's insane, right?
That is an insane amount. Yeah.
That is insane.
And especially during that time, that's just, ooh.
So all I could think about is, and you guys have heard me B&M about parking tickets that I get around here and everything, but think about how, first off, the status of things last year. We had some racial tension with, some things that were going on within the racial climate of our country. There were some businesses that were being affected, and where you were parked, like the meter maids weren't really out and about. They were very lenient on where to park and things of that sort. Yeah. So how is it that you collected so many cars? Yeah. And then think about the notices. The notices, the mail system, period, was late, like super tardy.
Yep.
So,
well, I was also just thinking about the process of when you had gotten that parking ticket, and this was after we were coming out of lockdown, and you went down to discuss it, and there was nobody there. You had to leave it in a box. So it's like, it reminds me a lot about that too. So
yeah, it's insane. So the suit, it has 2 plaintiffs, and they're nameless here, but you can look this up online and find out.
Okay.
But their cars were lost over outstanding parking tickets. That's the kicker. Right. So the lawsuit seeks compensation for its 2 plaintiffs, but it also seeks a process that includes notification prior to a vehicle seizure, which I think is extremely important. A hearing before the vehicle is taken or directly thereafter, and of course, more proportional fees.
yeah,
Why not?
why not?
Dude, 30 days, you're losing your car. Like, what if somebody had COVID and was in the hospital?
Right.
Like, granted, I'm sure you could, like, provide paperwork, but if after 30 days you don't own your car anymore because this company owns it.
Well, first of all, the process of trying to hunt it down too.
Oh my gosh. Oh, remember our producer Gia?
Yeah.
She had a situation with her car.
I mean, she was up in Philly, so it's a little bit different. But
she had to find where her car was. though.
yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's a whole process.
Yeah.
And she thought it was towed, and at the end of the day, she realized that it wasn't. I
Yep.
mean, it's a process. I mean, especially
That's
during
crazy.
that. Well, you know what it also makes me kind of think of?
What's that?
So we also had the presidential election, and of course, Joe Biden, Wilmington. This was a big center. There was a lot of traffic
Oh my
and
gosh,
everything
yes.
during that time. So I'm also wondering if they were taking advantage of that as well. Because I mean, if you think about it, because I remember coming into the city I did a mail ballot, but I didn't want to mail it back. I actually came in and I turned it in. And I came into the city to do that, and parking was so bad on election day.
Yeah.
And I literally walked several blocks to get to the building I needed to get
Maybe
to
that was
and
like a
turn it
deterrent
in.
for people.
But there was also a lot of media here.
Yeah, that is
And they're
true.
parking everywhere.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of controversy over polling locations and them turning away people and things of that sort.
Yep.
So what if people were being deterred from voting because of a tow truck situation for their vehicles?
Or that. Even during the lockdown and COVID and everything, like I said, there was a lot of activity going on in the city. So I can see where maybe they may have taken advantage of that. For sure.
I agree. Yeah. Now, speaking of COVID, we haven't talked about COVID in a while.
No, well.
Those COVID-y topics. So we're bringing Dr. Joan Coker in. We're going to sit down and get some updates from her. We could talk about the variants and the booster shot, and of course, just encouraging people again to please get vaccinated. So we're going to pop over. I'll have a quick chat with Dr. Joan Coker.
Awesome.
And we'll be right back on the couch.
Very cool. I look forward to seeing this.
Close. Okay. Last segment, y'all have an exorbitant amount of time. That was shy of 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna give y'all 15 minutes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you've played this game before. If you haven't, it's pretty simple. So this is like bargaining. I do this with my friends.
Oh, yeah?
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
We're back, and I'm so honored to have a moment with Dr. Joan Coker. Hi, how are you today?
How are you?
I'm very well. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being here. Listen, there's not a day that can go by where we don't talk about COVID. I mean, it's still super prevalent right now. We have the variant that has a life of its own. Help us to understand a little more about this Delta variant.
Yeah, this variant is pretty aggressive.
It is.
It's highly contagious. It's affecting far more children than we anticipated.
Yes.
When the COVID virus originally started, and let's just call it COVID alpha, we had about 9% of kids that were affected. And now we're up to 20%.
Wow.
And many of them are requiring hospitalization as well as intubation, which is just tragic for a child.
That's a really wide jump in the
That's
numbers.
a huge jump. And that just tells you how aggressive this variant is. I mean, this is the same variant in India that was taking 4,000 people out a day.
Wow. So this is the
So
same one.
same variant.
Okay.
So why does it happen? It happens because there is a mutation in a particular host. And most of those hosts are unvaccinated. And as a result, the virus can pretty much have its way in your body. So the take-home message, Kristen, is the more of us that get vaccinated,
Yes, indeed.
the less likely the mutation, therefore the less likely we'll see more variants.
Indeed. So, okay, with the vaccination, they're offering the booster shots now.
Yes.
Tell me a little more about the booster shot. Who's eligible for it, and how can we go about getting that?
So the good news is it's science-based again. So what they did was, many of us in healthcare on the front line, we got our first shot in December, second shot in January. So we were about 4 months out, and they said, let's check the antibody level. So randomly, they took 25 states, looked at several healthcare workers and said, let's see where we are with the numbers. And although we were doing well, not a lot of people sick, not a lot of folks requiring hospitalization or ventilators, they noticed that instead of being 91, 93% effective, now we're down to 77%. So we thought, and they thought, we're going to need a weapon in the toolbox, and we're going to need to gear up because we still have a lot of holdouts.
Yeah.
And as a result of these holdouts, you've got these aggressive variants, A, but B, you've got more people coming into the hospital again. The house is on fire again. We feel better because now we feel like we'll make it, even though we're in the throes of this madness. Whereas our biggest fear, many of us were undressing in the garage, afraid to go home, getting rooms at hotels to not contaminate our families. And now we're in a different position. And I got to tell you, it feels, I'm going to be honest with you, disrespectful. Because now you've got folks that have taken an oath. We're there for you, but you're coming in upset that you've got to wait an hour, 2 hours, and you're short of breath in the emergency room because you have COVID, because you chose to not get vaccinated. So it feels different. But nonetheless, we're there on the front line, but we know we need to put another weapon in the toolbox and gear up. And so we're going to continue to need these boosters in the world as long as folks are thinking more about themselves as opposed to their neighbor, their family members, those that are ineligible for vaccination.
You know, I have an 11-year-old and she's not eligible to become vaccinated yet. I can't help but to think about, you know, how do we protect ourselves? Like you said, the children are higher in the rate we're getting this Delta variant, which is crazy. You know, how do we protect ourselves other than getting vaccinated? Off camera, you and I were having a conversation, and I was speaking with a friend of mine who was telling me that they were turned down to get the vaccination because they had, and I'm pretty sure they were out of their 90 days of having COVID, but that they were turned down because they had too many antibodies. And in my mind, I, of course, questioned and said, well, I don't know, let me do some research. Something about that doesn't sound too right. Will you help educate us for those who may be under the impression of, I have too many antibodies, or I just had COVID, so I can't get vaccinated, just to dispel some of the rumors that may exist?
You know, for a long time in this country and everywhere, natural immunity is effective. They're absolutely right. Once you've had the flu, the likelihood that you have antibodies to get through the season, pretty doggone high. You get the flu shot, you have antibodies as well. This is different. This virus is deadly.
It's so aggressive.
It's so aggressive. And the problem that we're seeing is, yes, folks do have a natural immunity once they've had it. But the downside is they seem to be losing antibodies very quickly after 90 days.
After 90 days.
After
That's
90
key.
days.
Not 7 to 8 months.
Not 7 to 8 months.
90 days.
Right.
Wow.
And we're not even 7 to 8 months outside of having the vaccination. So we're just there for many of us. So the data is brand new. And the vaccinations are holding up against these variants. But my hope is that there's not a new variant. And that's the biggest fear, that there's going to be a new variant that is not at all amenable to the vaccinations. And now we're back at ground zero trying to find something effective. So if we just cut down on the number of hosts that allow this virus to just have its way in their bodies because they have nothing to fight against it, then we're going to be forever in this spin of, oh my God, you're not going to believe this, but we're still in masks and we still need another booster shot.
We have to do something to protect ourselves. And if you're not starting at that baseline level of becoming vaccinated,
you got it.
Where will we really get better? We're just going to keep spinning.
We're going to keep spinning. This is a global issue.
It is.
This is a global issue. And so you have to think globally. So it's not about you. It is about that aging parent. It is about that friend going through chemo for a number of kinds of cancer that can't mount the response that they were hopeful for. And certainly it has to be about these children that have no say in the conversation.
That's the part that gets me.
That's
the
part
children
that
are so innocent in all of this, and a lot of them aren't eligible for the vaccination. So, and now to hear that the babies are the ones getting sick and passing it on to others, we're giving it to them, and then they're turning around and giving it to other hosts that are vaccinated. So,
and what we know in the African American communities is that we have a higher rate of asthma because there are folks that are smoking in the house. It's not the child's fault. It's not a genetic thing. It's an environmental thing. So understanding that there may already be a compromise of their respiratory system, and then you throw this thick mucus in a tiny system and they are battling to survive. They are battling to survive. I mean, adults have a larger airway, more lung capacity, and they're struggling to survive. Imagine a child.
Little babies.
Yeah,
that hurts
big deal. It's a big deal.
And there are so many, just in the Black and Brown community, there are so many other health issues that, you know, make this even worse.
Correct.
Diabetes, childhood diabetes. I have some younger family members who are children with diabetes, sickle cell, anemia, just, you know, and they're the ones who are the most vulnerable to all of this. So
I
think we just have to do our part.
You got it. And not only do we need to do our part, but we have worked to make sure that we were on the front line, in line, getting the vaccination. Those of us in the community that just fought to get us a place in line. And at some point, folks have got to decide. It's time to lead and stop following.
I agree.
I mean, let's go. I mean, we can sit here and Google and sit on social media forever, but at the end of the day, I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. Let's go.
Yes,
it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult. And, you know, instead of perpetuating rumors and myths about the vaccination, or even when the governor had dewins.org, where he was incentivizing getting vaccinated, there were so many people that had negative things to say. But look at what's going on right now. We have this Delta variant, and, you know, God forbid, you know, we don't have another variant that's going to take and run rampant. But how are we going to get things to become better if you aren't doing your part?
That's correct.
We're all a community of people here. We're all here to pour in to each other and uplift each other. But if you're not doing your part, what are you really doing? You're helping to kill us.
That's correct.
You know, it's not cool.
And COVID is a test. And it's a test of wills and community. And if folks don't get the message, we're going to continue to have masks. We're going to continue to send home classrooms of children. We're going to continue to have mandates, and we're going to continue to struggle with this economy. But if we would all just take a moment, think outside of ourselves.
That's right.
Be there
Truly
for one another.
express humanity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then we'll get through it.
I agree.
The world will get through it.
Yeah.
So
we shall overcome.
we shall. I love that.
Well, listen, Dr. Coker, I appreciate your time today. And as always, I really appreciate all that you do in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking a moment to sit here with us and have some conversation about what's going on with these COVID issues, as I call them.
You got it. Thanks
Yeah.
for inviting me. I appreciate it.
No worries. All right, we're going to go back over to the couch.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back, everybody. So I am personally thrilled and really excited to be sitting down with our next guest. His name is Bill Muir, and he is also known as the Sargent Vegan. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you here because as our audience knows, I am vegetarian. I know the one thing that's holding me back is cheese. We talked about that a little bit before we started. But I am really excited to have you here and to kind of, pick your brain and talk about everything. But before we dive into all of that,
okay.
I know there's probably several of our audience members who maybe aren't familiar with you, have never heard about you. So tell me a little bit about how you got to become Sargent Vegan.
So the Sargent Vegan, it's an interesting story. I was actually a sergeant in the U.S. Army. Okay. I was a paratrooper. 9/11, real quick story. 9/11, I was living in Japan and I got a text on my phone about the Twin Towers. In Japanese. It was kind of cryptic about two big buildings and a fire. And I'm like, what's going on here in New York? Fast forward, I left Japan. I went home, joined the Army, sent me out to Italy to join the 173rd Airborne, and deployed in 2005 as a combat medic with the 173rd Airborne.
Well, thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Yes, but please continue.
So, and I've been vegan since 1992. So I was vegan then, I'm vegan now. And after I became a sergeant, I just started thinking that Sargent Vegan kind of sounded funny. It was somewhere between funny and cool. And I would use that while I was in the service. And the guys, as you would guess, gave me some good-natured ribbing for being vegan. But I was in great shape. And as I ran by them, I would whisper something like, that's why you're getting beat by a vegan, not in good shape. And that continued. And I started to kind of think of Sargent Vegan as almost like a comic book character. And when I wrote my book Vegan Strong, I started to write it in that voice of like an almost over-the-top representation of veganism. And
like
a
superhero.
Kind of like Sergeant Slaughter,
I can see that.
A G.I. Joe character from the 80s. And then I started to think, well, actually Sargent Vegan, it would be better if it was more in my RN voice because I carried over being, when I was a combat medic, to becoming an RN. And so Vegan Strong is written more in my RN voice, which is more calm, compassionate. Whereas as I was a sergeant in the Army, as you would guess, I was maybe not as calm and compassionate when we're talking about life and death issues, and a little bit rougher.
Well, naturally, yes.
But that was also partly to compensate from being vegan in a war zone.
Yeah. Which I have to commend you, by the way, because
Well,
I when I read that about you, I was like, how in the world did he maintain that? And because I come from a military family myself, so I hear how it all goes. And I was like, yeah, not the life for me. That's why I give you so much respect. But yeah, I'm really impressed that you stuck with that and you continue to stick with it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you came back, yes, you became an RN, but you also went to culinary school, right?
I did. So I wanted to open a vegan restaurant. That was my plan. And I looked at a bunch of different options for opening, and I was looking to open in Philly, and I worked at some restaurants in California. And this was like 2007, 2008. Okay. I went to a culinary program, and then I started working at restaurants. And the economy, as everyone remembers, kind of took a nosedive, and I just thought, this isn't for me. And by 2010, I was kind of wavering in what I should do with all that experience. And I volunteered to work in Haiti with the earthquake relief. Wow. And doing that for about 2 weeks, hands-on, boots on the ground, as we would say, it made me think, you know what? This is what I want to do with my life. I love being able to actually help people, be able to do that. But as I became an RN, I started to think, all that experience and all that time that I spent trying to open a vegan restaurant, what would I do with it? And that's why I wrote Vegan Strong. I wanted to put all that information, plus my 20 plus years of experience of being vegan at that time, into one spot with the idea of, okay, I was 19, I'm going vegan, and that's when I went vegan, when I was 19. What could I give somebody to make them successful in that transformation? And that's why I wrote Vegan Strong. And I thought that would be kind of a fun, and one of the things that I've always kind of disliked personally about books about the vegan experience and about eating healthy is that they always end up making it through a kind of a hippie lens, which
I know what lens you're talking about.
Yeah, that's not my tradition. That's not how I was raised. And also, I don't think that that's kind of the way that's going to be best taken by the mainstream.
Yeah.
And if we're going to fix our climate, we're going to finally get our environment under control, then it's going to have to be something that speaks to everyone. Yeah. And maybe the hippie lens, as awesome as those people were, maybe the hippie lens is not going to work in 2021. Maybe 1966 would have worked better. Yeah. For that. So hence the camouflage and trying to almost compensate like the Sargent Vegan, the over the top kind of thing. And that's what I did with the book.
And I love it because your journey really all culminated to writing this book. I mean, you taught English, right, in Japan. That's where you started. So, I mean, you started with English, went into the military service, culinary school, all of that, all culminated into creating this and pulling all of those pieces together, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you.
I agree with you 100%. It's what I like about your approach is you really keep it simple. I like that you talk about your 3 main reasons to go vegan, right? You have health, environment, and compassion. Pretty basic things. Yeah. I love that. And I think you're absolutely right. It's definitely a different approach to discussing what it is to go vegan and why it's also kind of important. Next thing I want to talk about, to kind of continue with the writing, you also have another book, right? That recently came out about a year ago now?
Christmas of 2020, yeah.
Okay.
So about a year ago.
So tell me a little bit about Sergeant Piggy. Where did he come from?
So my nieces were obsessed with the pig motif, and I made a commercial for Vegan Strong with a pig dressed as an army sergeant, and they loved it, and they couldn't get enough of it. And when they were watching it, it made me think, maybe I should do something for kids. And then I did a little research on kids' books with perhaps a plant-based or vegan motif, and they were all basically cry fests about how sorry and sad the animals were, and yeah, I get that, and yeah, I agree with that on the compassion way, but I don't think that sells what it is to be vegan or plant-based that well. I think what that does is make it just look like to be vegan is to be sad, and it's not. To be vegan or plant-based or whatever you want to call it is just trying to live your life in the best way possible, in a way that you're not harming animals or destroying the planet or putting like unhealthy things in your body.
Absolutely.
And kids these days, instead of telling about how awful things are and starting it off like that, just say, hey, this is something awesome, try this. And kids usually are going to be good to animals almost instinctively. Yeah. And so I wrote Adventures of Sergeant Piggy, which, spoiler alert, a lot of the things Sergeant Piggy does are based on my own adventures through Scotland and England and Wales and most of Asia and the Middle East, and just show how awesome and exciting life is, especially because in 2020, no one was traveling anymore. And I wanted to give kids a little bit of travel, a little bit of excitement about the world in a safe environment, because no one was getting on a plane at that point.
This is true, yeah.
And kind of a little bit of down low vegan propaganda, maybe sliding kind of in there. Yeah, so Sergeant Piggy is vegan, but it's just kind of like his default. And I think as time goes on, that's going to be more and more people's default. However, we need to get there sooner than later because of our climate problem.
Absolutely. And I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like I said, I went vegetarian. I was much younger. I was like 15 or 16 when I made the switch, and I did all the research, right? I was like, okay. And my main reason was health. That was my main reason that sort of made me decide this is what I'm going to try. And it was because at the time, you know, there was all these E. coli outbreaks, all these things happening, salmonella outbreaks, all these things happening. And I wasn't a big red meat eater to begin with, but chicken was like my go-to. And I was an athlete, so I was constantly eating the chicken for protein. Then I couldn't touch it because it was, I forget what it was, but they had pulled it off from the shelves. And it really made me question, you know, for the first time in my life, really made me question in an adult manner, like, what is it that I'm consuming and eating, and what am I doing to my body by consuming it? And really looking at it as, you know, when you go into the grocery store, you're looking at sort of an industrialization approach to meat, and that's what we're consuming. And so I did it for health purposes mainly, and I never went back because I felt stronger, I felt healthier, more alert, more awake. So I don't push because I'm the only one in my family, large family. But I don't push it on my family. I just try to educate. And funny enough, I think my niece is moving towards it.
I love it.
She's getting there, yeah. But tell me what it is that for someone who maybe comes up and says, why should I go vegan? I mean, yes, we have those 3 points, but they're in the middle of a transition, like, I really love meat. What advice do you give them?
I would say at first, well, besides those 3 points, don't think of it as an absolute, you're going vegan tomorrow, or you're doing this, that, or the other. Say, okay, I'm going to eat some healthier options. I'm going to try what's out there. When I went vegan in 1992, which is at time of filming 29 years ago, there were no vegan options. So I would have, okay, you're having a hamburger, I'm going to have a PBJ. That was not the way probably to showcase veganism to people. Yeah. Whereas now I could say, hey, all right, let's go low key. Once a week, the day you're going to have that hamburger, have a Beyond Burger. Yeah. Have a Gardein, which is another great company. And there's Tofurkey. There's a billion companies now that are making this stuff.
So many options.
Try one of those instead. Don't label it. Don't say that, oh, I can do this, I can't do that. When you put yourself in a box like that, it makes it more difficult for yourself to think about it. And it makes it so there's a label. Now you think, oh, what's society going to think of me? You know, where I live in California, Carl's Jr. has a Beyond Burger. So it's literally the choice of, instead of saying, I want this burger, I want that burger, done. Right. Nothing has changed. You've just had a plant-based meal and you didn't even have to think about it. Nobody's judging you or caring either way about it. And I think that kind of thing, people really need to just consider how much and how many vegan products that we have in the supermarket nowadays, whether it's plant-based milk, plant-based cheese, there's plant-based chocolate, any kind of thing. Now Hershey's has a vegan chocolate bar and made out of oats. There's an oat milk chocolate bar. Why they chose that and not soy or any other, who knows, but it exists. It just came out. KFC has Beyond Chicken options in some different states that they're always trying. It's the availability, the accessibility of great products make it easy. And I think just substituting things that you would normally eat for a healthier option, and then your meal hasn't changed, it's just become healthier, and it's just become better for the planet, is going to be the better route to go than thinking that it has to be this night and day switch of like, now you have to wear a monk's robe and like hit yourself with some lashes or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it certainly has gotten better. I know for me, when I first started, there was nothing, and now there's definitely a lot more options. Well, Bill, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to come and sit down with us and to share all of this with us.
Thank you.
But if anyone wants to learn more, where should they go? What should they check out?
Cool. So I'm easily accessible on the internet, sargentvegan.com. That's sgtvegan.com. Also on Instagram, sgt_vegan, or on Facebook, sgtvegan.
Fantastic. I'm going to go follow you right now.
Thank
you again. Hang with us, guys. We'll be right back. Another very special thank you to Bill Muir, who is also known as Sargent Vegan, for coming out all the way from Culver City, believe it or not. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think he's in the Valley now, but he was living in Culver City for a very long time, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So what's the story? Tell me. Help me understand.
Well, I mean, you know, I've been a vegetarian for a very long time, right? But I've never been able to go vegan. So, but what I think is really great about him is his whole story is crazy. So he started off as an English teacher in Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. But then 9/11, and he's actually turned vegan, before I get to the next part, he turned vegan in 1992.
All right.
9/11 happened. He came home, joined the military, became a medic in the military. Then once he finished doing his service in the military, he went to culinary art school. But then the 2008 crash happened. He didn't really know what to do with it. So he leaned back on his medic and became RN and was just really focused on health and everything. So what's great about this is he literally took all of these things that he is, these very different things from his life that culminated into becoming this guy named Sargent Vegan. And then writing a book.
His title is like super official.
I know.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I won't eat. But he's such a great guy. And he's absolutely right. Like part of our interview, he was talking about his approach is very different. It's not sort of like that, because he wrote a book about it, Vegan Strong. So it's not really like this hippy dippy type approach, but it's very, very different. And for me, because I was reading up on it too, just to kind of see, it is very different because he's really just focusing on 3 very basic points as to why someone should go vegan.
Okay.
The first one, which I loved because it was why I went vegetarian, was health. Next one is environment, right? Understand with global warming and everything else and the impact of how meat's being processed in the country. And then, of course, the third is compassion. So, you know, animal lover that I am.
I can sig it.
I know. So all 3 reasons for me.
Not bad.
What do you think?
So going vegan has been something that I have considered at different points in times in my life. I became pescatarian in 2004.
Okay.
And I went vegetarian for a little stretch. And then I was like, you know what? I feel a little malnourished. I didn't really have the information to how to keep myself healthy, you know, and nourished with vitamins and minerals,
supplements and stuff that you needed. Yep. So and that's why that's why a lot of people who will try it end up going back because they feel that way. And it's because they didn't really do, like I did a lot of research prior to going vegetarian. And I even spoke to a nutritionalist as well. So I spent some time before I made that call.
I just knew I wanted to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like I just understanding the different health challenges in my family. I knew I wanted to be healthy. I knew I wanted to live a long life. And anybody who like really knows me, I always say I'm going to live to be like 123. I don't know where that number comes from, but yeah.
That's a good number.
So,
I'm going to write that down.
But no, seriously, I feel like in order to do that, I need to have a diet that reflects me being here for that long. So.
Absolutely. And my family history as well. I think it's one of the reasons why I made the decision that I did. A lot of history of like diabetes and stuff like that on my family, both my mom and dad's side. So
same here.
Yep, health was my primary reason for making my choice.
I could say it.
Yep.
Cheers to health.
Boom.
Indeed.
I love it. So give it a try. I mean, you guys saw the interview, so that there is, you know, a lot of benefits to it, even if you only do it maybe once a day. Maybe challenge yourself.
Or you know what? I like to rotate. So I have weeks where I am more seafood heavy or, you know, we'll eat quinoa or some other food items that will give protein. And then other weeks, you know, we'll have. You know.
But it's funny because you mentioned pescatarian, but a lot of people don't know what that is.
It's when you eat fish.
Yep. So you're vegetarian,
yes,
but you eat fish.
Yes.
So in case you didn't know what that was, for sure.
We eat lots of seafood in my home. Minus my kid. I give her some of everything. So to keep her system balanced because she goes between mom and dad and dad eats whatever he wants and gives her whatever he's eating. And so listening to, my stomach hurts, you know, I didn't want to do that. So she eats whatever. So I'm pretty sure I tire her out on chicken because that's like about all that I'll make is chicken.
Yeah.
That she eats. But for me, it's like seafood and And I might I'll tell on myself, tell the truth, shame the devil, but I might sneak and have some chicken
every now and again.
every now and then.
That's okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's chicken.
It's okay. That's all right.
Yes.
I think it's all right.
But
No,
moving on.
But moving on. I mean, and one of the things that it's really funny because I actually thought that Sargent Vegan was from Delaware. Turns out he's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He's from Pennsylvania, so not too far away, but really close.
Okay.
But that leads me to a game that has come up that our producer wants us to try, which is Famous People of Delaware game.
I love this.
Yes.
I love
So
this.
what we're going to do is, so our producer wrote down names. We have not seen this.
Yes.
Wrote down names on these sheets of paper. And I'm going to pick one up, put it on my forehead. I'm not going to look at it. And I'm going to ask you questions to give me clues and try to guess this famous person from Delaware.
I'm with it. We need to let this ring out. I had a friend who was trying to Delaware shame me and was like, hey, there are no famous people from Delaware.
That's a lie.
Exactly.
There's a whole bunch.
Too small of a place not to have big people come.
Yeah.
from it. So, you ready?
I'm ready. You want to go first?
You got to use this yellow tape too.
I know. And we got to put it on our forehead. I
She
know.
has us using yellow tape to stick it to our forehead.
Yeah. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go right ahead.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Lead the way. All right. So we're going to go with this one.
I think I'm supposed to put mine on at the same time too.
Oh, at the same time? Okay.
At the same time.
All right. So
mine is
real
already
quick,
taped.
is mine right side up?
It sure is.
All right. So I'll show you guys out there what mine is. There you go. All right. I'm going to stick it on my
All
forehead.
right. Is mine right side up?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Nail this one.
Ugh.
All right.
All right.
So,
All right.
before we start, they have to be yes or no questions, right, Gia? Yes.
All
So
right,
they
okay.
can't be like specific. It's got to be yes or no answers.
All right. Gia wants us to have fun.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. Is my person a woman?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay. My
All right.
turn. Is my person a woman?
No.
Okay.
Is my person an actress?
Yes.
Ooh. I don't know.
Mine's a guy. Mine's a guy. I have a
Let's
guess.
think. Who
I
could
have
my
a-
person be?
I was gonna say, do you want to guess?
I don't know who it could be. Let me
Because there's a
think.
number of female actresses from Delaware.
Maybe I'll take a stab at it.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. No, I'm going to ask a question first.
All right.
Does my person's name start with the letter A?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My turn?
Your turn.
Okay. So mine's a male. I know that much. I don't know any.
Am I supposed to guess already?
There is a male actor.
Come on. Make it a good question. Make it good. Make it good.
Is my person in politics?
Ooh, good question. Yes.
Okay, I know
Yeah.
who it is.
All right, I'm going to take a stab. Is mine Amelia Earhart? Just kidding. Just kidding.
No.
Amy Schuh?
No. Is an actress, yes. But no.
I don't know who it is. Okay.
Can I take a stab at mine?
Go ahead.
Joe
You better nail
Biden?
this. Yes. I was about to say you better nail this.
Yes. All right, but go ahead. Ask your question. Ask your question for this one.
Let me think. Okay. Is my lady a millennial?
I want to say yes.
Oh, I don't know who this is. Okay, let me see. Let me keep asking until I get to
Yes.
a no. Okay. Is my person? I want to ask silly questions like from Newcastle County.
You could, because I actually know a lot about this person. So
Is my person from Newcastle County?
Yes.
Okay. Did my person go to our high school?
No.
All right, I got to a no. All right, here you go.
I already
Give me
know.
a person.
Do I change it?
I don't know who my person is. I'm sorry.
You're really, really close.
I am.
So can I give her one hint? It's not a yes or a no.
Okay.
Gia, can I? Okay. All right. I'm going to give you one hint. Parks and Rec.
Oh, I love that show. What's that girl's name?
Come on. You could do it. You could do it.
Yep. Nope.
Can I tell her?
I see faces,
Can I
not
tell her?
names.
Should I tell her?
Come
Aubrey
on,
Plaza.
rescue me.
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey. Aubrey Plaza.
She's like one of my
I'm sorry, Aubrey.
favorite actresses. Aubrey, if you're out there,
I loved you on
adore
Parks
you.
and Rec.
Black Bear was amazing.
Round 2.
All right.
That hurt. Ooh.
I took mine slowly off, so I'm
I didn't think about that part.
All right, so round 2. You
All right,
ready?
is mine straight?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I like this. Is mine straight?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
It is.
Okay. I like the one you have.
I like yours too.
Okay.
All right, you go first.
Is my person female?
No.
Okay.
All right. Am I a teacher?
No.
Okay.
So male again. I'm drawing blanks. Am I an actor?
No.
Okay.
Am I a person from... Am I a historical figure?
Not yet. No. I'm just throwing that out there. No.
Huh. Okay.
It's my turn.
I wish you guys could ask questions in the
I-
comments. Help us.
Am I into music?
No. Not at all. Am I into music?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm into music.
But no, you're not going to identify this person
Oh,
with music. That was a
okay.
hard question to say yes or no to. I'm just saying.
So I am into music, but I'm okay. Oops. Okay. Have I ever performed at one of the theaters here?
No.
Okay. Ask me a good one.
I'm trying to think of a good one because famous male,
Mhm.
Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Am I an actor?
No.
Okay.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Okay.
I feel like this is going to take us forever.
Am I a politician?
No.
Oh,
Well,
darn.
yes. Sorry. I had
Yes?
to change that up. Yes.
Okay. I am not a historic. Okay. I'm not a historic figure.
This is hard because
Okay.
I know this person.
Okay. All right. Okay. Am I young?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. I take it that I'm not. Am I dead?
No.
Okay, so I'm young. I have not performed. I like music, but I am not known for music. And political, you said yes. Oh boy, oh boy. I
I'm
need
trying to
another
think of-
question.
I'm trying to
Have
think
I
of-
met this person?
But yes.
Am I someone that I met?
What? I don't even know that what that question
Am I
is.
someone that Kristen met?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Am I the am I the governor?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Am I the governor?
No.
Okay. I'm drawing so many blanks because it's male.
Mhm.
Male, famous from Delaware. Not an actor,
You
not
know
a
what?
musician.
I have a question. Am I in the country right now?
No.
I know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I know who it is. I know who it is.
Since you've gotten that far, I'm gonna ask my question.
Fire away.
Do I own a business?
No.
Oh man, I thought I had it. Okay.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say mine.
Go ahead.
Am I Jordan
Jordan what?
Hines?
Yes. I'm drawing such a blank on mine though.
Yay! I got to be Jordan for a moment.
Am I with DETV?
No. You were like, I don't want to cheat, but like, dude, you were like really major when you were around.
Oh, so I'm dead.
Yeah. People used to look up to you, you know? You used to sit in a large, oversized plot of grass. A lot of people would walk around and you'd be
Rodney?
there. Yes.
Really?
What's the name though? Full name?
Caesar Rodney?
Caesar Rodney, yes. Yay,
I would
JJ.
have never guessed
But
that on
listen,
yes and no
I was
questions,
asking
honestly.
questions based on your person.
That was
Listen,
hard.
I know. I do say, and while we talk about drinks a lot here, you know, we don't have drinking problems. We just like to socially consume. This would have been a great game to have sips to.
It would have.
Maybe you guys at home were sipping your coffee as we were playing this game. We probably should have had some ourselves.
We should have done that because
Indeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time waking up this morning, but this
Yeah.
is crazy.
That's a
but
good
this
party
is a
game.
really good game. But you
Definitely.
know what? Here's the other thing. So I want to look at these. There are so many missing from this list, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was having such a hard time because you had one.
Yeah.
And it was Elizabeth's shoe.
Elizabeth's shoe.
Elizabeth's
Yeah.
shoe.
I don't know why I thought April.
Yes. And everybody forgets that Elizabeth's shoe is from Delaware. She's actually from Wilmington. Aubrey Plaza is from Wilmington as well.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, there were so many that I can't remember the actor's name, but he was in Save the Last Dance.
Yes.
Yep. There's been
the
so
ice
many.
skater, the figure skater.
Yes.
He lives in Greenville.
Lives in Greenville.
He was actually just on MTV recently. Yeah.
Was he really?
Indeed. But listen, here in Delaware, and I always say this, it's a small place. We're the second smallest state, but a lot of big things, big names, big people come out of here.
Absolutely.
And so we're all stars in our own respect.
You know what that reminds me? It doesn't remind me of this, though. Remember the sign when we drive into Wilmington that
place
said,
to be somebody.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
I loved that sign,
Yeah.
but they got rid of it, right?
They did. It's a different slogan now.
Crazy.
However, on this lovely Monday morning, while we have gotten to spend some girl time with you,
I know. I love it.
I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
I have, yes.
Awesome. Listen, regardless of what it is that you do and where you are all stars here in our beautiful state. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday morning.
Good morning, guys.